This is The Happiness Blueprint, the podcast where we uncover how people build happier lives.
Awesome. Welcome back to The Happiness Blueprint, friends. I'm here with two new guests, so please introduce yourself and let me know what you're involved with Salve Regina.
My name is Ashton McLean. I'm involved in sports. I also played on the football team and did manage for the basketball team, so
Cool.
it's pretty much about me.
Cool. I love that. What's your name?
My name is Owen Duffy. I'm a Salve Regina student, senior business administration major. Was also on the football team, and then pretty much right now my life is just school and then work outside of school.
Cool. When y'all say was on the football team, does that mean your seniors and football is done? Or
Yeah,
your football
Yeah,
is done?
seniors football is done.
That's tough. Okay, what is that adjustment to life been like after football?
I would say the adjustment at first was just like a shocker. Like, what am I gonna do? There's no sports and all that. But like, once you really get into routine of like what you want to do in your life, you just start to be like, okay, I'm gonna use what I learned from football and use it into what I'm trying to do for the future.
Yeah. Was it a similar kind of transition for you?
Definitely a rough adjustment. I would say just realizing how much free time we actually have. Because now with no more football, it was pretty much like a full-time job. You know, you got practice, you got workouts, you got meetings, film to watch. So it really takes up a lot of your time. But now without that, you know, you're looking where to dissect your time from. And so shout out, this guy's been getting me locked in. You know, he's like up at 7 a.m. every morning, hit the gym. So when you do that, you got more time in your day to accomplish more tasks.
It's tough when you had a structure formalized and set that you had no say in, right? Your coach said, be at the weight room, and if you weren't there, there was going to be a problem for not And depending on your coach, it depends on the scope of that problem, but it wasn't going to be a great day either way if you missed that session. So I think it's tough to then like gain your own control over your own time. I'm also thinking here, like, it's a valuable like life skill where football taught you. I think I grew up playing soccer, and like there was a point where I had to like, for me it was in high school, of like, oh, this isn't gonna be my life. Like when I was 6, I was like, oh, for sure I'm gonna go pro. There's no way I don't go pro. And then through middle school, it's like, I think I can still pull it off. And like, I think I went to high school being like, the scouts aren't here for me, but they're gonna see me and know what they're missing out. And then at some point that has to end. I have to accept that like this ain't it. And I assume with college football, it's the same thing of like, we're not at Alabama, right? We didn't come here being like, the league knows I'm here. But I'm sure there's also a moment of like, these scouts are going to see. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to, get so many yards this game, stop so many tackles, whatever the thing is. Has it been tough then to question then, like, what are the skills we learned from football that then can transition to life? Where at some point football does have to end. Unfortunately, it can't go on forever. But all these years of all the discipline that you went through, all the practical, the early morning lifting, like all these things would have transferred to life. What are some skills we take away from football and apply to life from here?
I feel like some skills that I learned is like time management. Because you got to manage your time to do what you have to do. You can't just be scrambled to be like, oh, I'm not prepared for this interview. I'm not prepared for this meeting. You got to show up prepared and ready to go at all times. So,
and when you're not prepared, pretend that you are.
Yeah, at least pretend it. At least.
The other key, yeah, because you might not like. I don't know if you guys are offense or defense, whatever. It's like you don't know what play's coming at you, whichever side of the ball you're on. And at some point, you just have to be like, all right, I'm ready. I got to trust that me and my team know what we're doing to the best of our ability. And we don't know if they have the perfect counter to us, but all we can do is show up and deal with that when we get there. There has to be some bravery of just like, we did our best. Let's go. Yeah, try our best to get their best here. What have you learned from football?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing I took away was discipline. You know, getting up at 6 a.m. every day. You know, practice was there, 7 a.m. every day, rain or shine, and you had to get there. That's what coach would say, just get there. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter how you're feeling. You might be tired one day. You might be like dealing with some other stuff outside of football, but just still show up and put the work in. And at the end of the day, that compounds every day, and you keep stacking these wins, and then you'll grow so much from that.
Yeah, I think some of the best life advice I ever got was to be someone who shows up, which sounds so simple, right? It seems like showing up should be such a simple thing, but it sounds like both of you kind of said, like, just get to practice 7 a.m. and everything else will fall into place from there. And it's such a simple thing that I think it's so easy to just like, yeah, it's rainy. I don't want to go do the thing. And it's like, well, turns out showing up is more than half the battle. And being someone who shows up has been like a simple identity. It's like, I can do that. I can't promise I'll be my best every day. I can't promise that the things going outside of this won't distract me, but I can show up. I can at least get that step, and then everything else could fall into place from there. Are there like mantras from football that kind of stand out as like good ways to like live your life and find more happiness in it?
Oh, let me think. I know we had like a lot of mottos.
I got one.
Yeah.
But
Our coach always said, opportunities come, opportunities go.
Your face confirmed that, coach.
Yep. That was our big saying. So pretty much like, I mean, guys get hurt, guys get injured, guys go down, and it's like next man up. So like that's your opportunity right there. You got to be ready for it. So that's like, even if you're not one of the starters, you still have to know the playbook front and back. You got to be well rehearsed on the plays. So when your opportunity does come, then you can take advantage of it. And then if it doesn't work out, then it's gone. Another one would be the coach always said, it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. So we're all capable of completing whatever is needed of us. Just that's how we got here. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are you willing to do to help the team win? How far can you go? And I think that's really what separates the goods from the greats.
Absolutely, yes.
And to go based off of what he said too, like another model that we use is we get to. If you have that mindset of, oh, we get to wake up, we get to play football, like that's what's the motivation that motivated all of us to appreciate what we have.
This episode of the Happiness Blueprint podcast is brought to you by Vibarks. Goals, budgets, and KPIs can tell you what happened, but they don't tell you how people felt while doing the work. Happiness is the most important metric of all, and it needs a system. Vibarks is that system for prioritizing your mental health and tracking emotional metrics for individuals, teams, and even projects. Users submit a weekly 2-minute check-in online or in the app for metrics like happiness, stress, and utilization. Then, Vibarks processes that data into quantified metrics that help spot patterns, celebrate wins, and encourage support where needed. Personally, I loved using Vibarks with my team at GBM6. It felt like such a great way to check in with myself and make sure I'm hitting both my professional and my personal goals. I especially love that it asks me for 3 things that I'm happy about every week. During busy season, I find that things can feel a little chaotic and stressful, so this has felt like a really great tool to reframe my focus and make sure I'm aware of how many great things are happening around me, even in the most stressful moments. Vibarks is free forever for individuals, .edu teams, and .org teams. All other organizations can start with a 60-day free trial and then pay just $5 per user per month to build a healthier, happier, and more engaged workplace. Check out the link in our description to get started on your own journey towards a happier personal and professional life. Thank you to Vibarks for sponsoring today's episode. All right, back to the show. We're coming up here. We have like 1 minute left before our timeline ends, so we can go for our next appointment here. So I'd love to follow up on those, but we'll cut to the chase here. The last question we'd like to wrap up on here is what makes you happy? Something you kind of touched on this as your coach was saying of like, we get to is such an important perspective to keep in mind of like, there's a lot of short straws in this world that we can draw, and we're in pretty good ones right here. Like we're in a safe place, we're cozy, we're warm, we're inside, like things are okay right now. We get to, I think, is a really important lesson to keep in mind there. What makes y'all happy outside of football, I guess outside of school, outside of business here today? Like, is there a hobby that you're into? I guess football might be the hobby now that it's not the formal thing, but yeah, is there an activity? Are you a drawer, cooker? Is there a favorite thing you like to do? What makes you happy?
Well, what makes me happy, I like to inspire people on social media, just motivate them, be positive. And what also makes me happy, just being around my boys, like helping my boy out, be like motivating. I'm like, yo, let's get up again after in the morning. So then we'll have more time to do more things. So just like seeing people win, because like people call me Ash Wins, you know what I'm saying? Because we're always winning. So like me seeing other people win and inspiring people just makes me happy.
We all need an Ashton in our life. Yeah, it's a beautiful gift to have, and hopefully that like also fills your cup in the process. Like I think the balance there is always not like draining your cup because you're trying to fill so many other cups up. So I think if you could balance motivating everyone else and keeping yourself up, that's a beautiful thing for society. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy, I'd say making other people laugh. I've been blessed with a great sense of humor, a very unique sense of humor. Some people get it, some people don't, but if not, I'll still let know. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, just in general in life, is that each day is a new opportunity to be great and to be happy and have fun. You could have had the worst day of all time yesterday, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's in the past. So you can just wake up the next day and be anything. You can be a whole new person. And I just think that's great.
Yeah. And I think even in the context of like, it's okay to have a bad day and be sad about it, but like recognize that, feel that, and like, go from there, build from that place and recognize that it's a place that you can improve. Beautiful, guys. I'd love to keep chatting here, but I know we got some appointments to get to here, so I'll keep going. Thanks for joining the show today. Thanks for listening.
Let know. Make sure you guys let know.
Beautiful. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Happiness Blueprint, powered by GBM6. It's about making people happy.